over there in the internet who watches our show. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
Welcome to Back Issues. Today we are talking about Infinity Gauntlet.
Nice.
I figured, let's do it. It's all the Marvel movies are leading up to it.
Right.
We're not going to see a shred of this book in that movie.
Right.
Nope.
Avengers 3, I'm guessing. Because Avengers 2 is about Ultron. Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
By Jim Starlin, George Perez, and Ron Lim. Jim Starlin wrote it. He's like the authority on Thanos and Adam Warlock, the two main characters of this book.
Was this the first major Thanos story?
I mean, Thanos had appeared, and he'd been around since the 60s,
Okay.
but this was the first one where people went, oh, cool! For the most part, he was like, hey, look, it's Marvel's Darkseid. What you gonna do, Marvel's Darkseid? And then he's like, I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this fucking glove and I'm gonna kill you! This is what everybody's leading up to.
By the way, him just getting the gauntlet and
just
having
like,
the stones
I've got
like,
it.
Like, alright,
What?
here.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who don't know,
I have
Ben's
no idea
actually
what happens
read
in this
Infinity
book.
Gauntlet.
I have.
Hopefully he hasn't read it recently, so it's a little bit more fuzzy
I
in
have
his memory.
not.
If you are watching these Marvel movies, then you know because some nerd has told you about the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Gems, which they're calling the Infinity Stones in the movie. I guess because gems are
I thought
silly.
They call them gems.
No, they call them stones in the movie. There are 6 Infinity Gems: power, mind, time, space, soul,
And heart!
reality.
The most important one.
Yeah.
No.
I always
No,
forget.
Power,
it's
power's
funny.
the most...
Power's the most... No.
No.
That's
Should be.
bullshit.
Power is the gem in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
And it appears the most powerful because of its own, existence. But
Because of its use, but I mean,
Yeah.
they're all equally powerful.
You,
Especially time. Holy shit, time.
They're all equal, especially one.
especially
which
one. One is more
than the
equal.
rest.
It's like, I'll give you the bigger half.
Just recently, in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers series, or New Avengers series, there's been these incursions, and we've mentioned them a couple times in other shows. The idea is that there are different Earths that are occupying the same space as our Earth, and the options we have or the Illuminati have as Guardians of the Earth is we can either let the Earth occupy our space and have both Earths be destroyed, or we can destroy that Earth and stave off our own utter destruction for another 45 minutes.
Right.
By the way, the Earth is kind of like a physical embodiment of their entire reality. So it's like you see the Earth and you know that their reality is encroaching on your own. So you destroy that Earth, and that Earth is kind of like the linchpin in reality itself around it.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't.
It's a geocentric universe.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
that's-
So, and the sun revolves around it. No, I dropped New Avengers because, number one, it was really slow paced. Number two, I was so sick of seeing my beloved superheroes
Right.
act like monsters.
Right.
Because
Right.
the first 2 Earths that showed up were like desolate wastelands. Like they'd already destroyed their Earths.
Right.
So it was like, all right, bye. But later on, like the Squadron Supreme, which is basically Marvel's version of the Justice League.
Right.
They're figuring out how they can solve this problem, and they show up and they're like, hey, Avengers, listen, we need your help, we can figure it out. And they're like, we've already killed a dozen worlds, we know it can't be helped, we have to kill you, and then we'll destroy the world. And it's so sad to watch the Avengers just mercilessly brutalize the Justice League,
Right.
because the Justice League are these it's not the Justice League, but it is.
Right.
One of the Batman characters' first name is Wayne. So, and by the way, the first one to kill them is Namor. Namor's just like, they're like, how are we going to explain to them that it's futile? And Namor's like, well, I'll just kill that one, and now it's on. now you have to fight them.
Now
because...
they're going to try to kill you,
Yep.
so you got to kill them.
Yeah. So
And
anyway,
then kill their entire planet.
so their first thinking is, let's use the Infinity Gauntlet, because the Infinity Gauntlet controls all reality.
And they have it.
And they have it. Now, they have it because the Illuminati, in one of their first adventures, was the Infinity Gauntlet created such havoc. It wrought such destruction in the story Infinity Gauntlet. We know that Thanos should never have it again. We need to get the Infinity Gems, and then we'll each keep one. So they go through an adventure where each member of the Illuminati grabs a gem.
Okay.
And
So then no one person can...
exactly.
wield it.
So
And it's also not like the movie where
where if you touch it, you die. No, they're
you
just
can't
gems.
handle it. It's like, no,
Right.
you just become incredibly powerful.
It's actually great. There's a great moment where Reed Richards assembles the gauntlet at the end of that story, and he starts to become corrupted by it. not unlike the One Ring.
Interesting.
And the Watcher shows up, and the Watcher was first created in a Fantastic Four story. He has a really long-standing relationship with the Fantastic Four and Reed Richards. You won't see that in Original Sin because Fox and Marvel are having a dick measuring contest about the Fantastic Four, so you won't see any Fantastic Four books at Marvel right now. The Watcher shows up, and he's like, no human has ever held the Gauntlet. You are the first human to ever hold the Infinity Gauntlet. There's a reason for that. You will destroy us all.
Right.
Like,
Wait.
you were better than that, Reed Richards. Like,
You're holding it because you're not supposed to.
yeah. Your plan of assembling the gems and then keeping it separate is a fail plan. Like, it is just you trying to control the uncontrollable. And actually, the reason why Reed Richards was able to take off the Infinity Gauntlet was because Professor Xavier, who's part of the Illuminati, went into Richards' mind and made him do it. But he didn't tell anybody. It's this amazing moment where, Richards eventually just takes it off and he's like, I'm sorry. And then the Watcher says, I'm proud of you today, Reed Richards, because you had the constitution to resist the gems. And then there's the last shot is of Professor X looking at him. Like, no, you didn't. That was cool. So anyway, Captain America.
That they don't actually spell it
They
out.
don't fucking spell it out. It's just, that's the last shot is, no, it says, I'm glad you had the strength of mind. And then Professor X goes, and it's like, cool. So Captain America winds up through a series of stories that take place between the few years that book came out and these incursions and shit. And Captain America joins the Illuminati, and his plan is, let's get the Infinity Gauntlet together. I'll use it because you can trust me because I'm fucking Captain America,
Right.
and I will the other universe into its own place. I'll put it back.
Right, because I control all of reality.
So he tries, and all the gems explode except for the time gem, which disappears.
Oh.
So in fact,
The gems explode.
Captain America destroys all the Infinity Gems.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay, so the time
I remember
gem
that.
disappeared so that it could come back later and allow them to reset it.
Well, and it's the whole story is hinging on time. So of
Right.
course the time gem disappeared.
Yeah.
And it came back very shortly thereafter. The guy who wrote it has been writing the story, and the time gem grabs Captain America and a bunch of other characters and puts them through this journey
In time.
forward in time. It goes forward 400 years, and then 10,000 years, and then 15,000 years, and then 45,000 years, and then 60,000 years into the future. And you're like,
what are we doing?
yeah, whoa. And eventually the team, which was Thor and Cap and Hawkeye and shit, was dwindled down to just Captain America. And when he comes back, he's gonna
What do you
have
mean dwindled down?
Get killed and
no,
stuff?
they keep going back. After they
Gem's
arrive.
you're done.
Yep, the time gem's get out of here. It's
You've learned your lesson.
Yeah, it's part of a... Well, no, there's no lesson to learn. It's not like Hawkeye learns about, that he wants children someday, and so he goes back. No, there's nothing there. It's just you... But they did... It is kind of like that, because it's you've learned your lesson in as much as, you've seen as much as you're supposed to see. Now get
Right.
out. Only Cap is supposed to go to this point. I don't even know what the point is. It's
Right.
just crazy.
Are these gems, do they have a mind of their own? Are they like the One Ring?
They're
They
not
are
supposed
kind
to.
of like the One Ring.
I've never seen, at least in this book, them act on their own accord.
They are a little bit like the One Ring after Lord of the Rings. In this, they're just gems. Because in the Illuminati story, the gems call to each other, and the more gems you have in your possession, the more strong the connection is with the other
Right.
gems. They all want to be together, even though they don't. Because having the gems together, as Infinity Gauntlet points out, is unnatural. You're not supposed to have... No one man is supposed to have control over all the Infinity Gems.
And that's why 6 people had them originally.
Yeah. Thanos gets the gauntlet. I mean, it's just his glove. By the way, the gauntlet isn't a gauntlet that exists. In Thor, there's a shot of the gauntlet, but it's just it was just a joke.
Right.
It's just one of his gloves. As you can see on the character here,
Well, how does he put gems in it?
because
There's no slots.
Well, as he creates slots. He doesn't do it by building them, but when he gets the gems, he just wills them into being. He does a lot of things when
He
he gets.
probably uses the power gem to carve holes in his glove.
Right.
No,
I mean they're just
or reality.
yeah.
Or
He
the
takes
reality
the reality of it to now
Or any of the
now
ones
the
that
gauntlet
can
holds
move
them
things.
exactly.
He went back in time
Yeah.
and made sure that he had gloves that could fit them.
But one of the major retcons or major character
What is
points.
the... I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This has been bothering me. What is the difference between the reality gem and the components of reality, like space and time?
Oh, what's the
and
difference
power?
between those?
Yeah.
These control those.
So does that mean the reality gem is the most powerful since all the other gems are just part of reality?
Well-
No, it's not. It's not all reality. It's different realities. I think.
You have access to different reality. It's really just whatever you want, like whatever the writer wants. Like it controls reality. Like you can change reality itself, or you can change reality to allow for circumstances outside of reality to occur.
So if you could change reality, you can change time, you can change space,
Well,
you can generate power.
That's what you extrapolate as a mere mortal, but in fact, you can't.
Well, then what does it mean to say you can change reality?
Well, we don't have the ability to conceive.
Well, how has it
Yeah.
actually been used, I guess is what
In
I'm
this?
asking. Yeah.
Well,
they're all
we
used
don't-
together. That's the
yeah,
thing.
we don't
They're
really
never
see-
used
Does it get
separately.
used
Okay,
separately?
in the Illuminati, they use the reality gem to just get to the next gem.
They're just like, I will be at the next gem.
Yep, and then they find it. So I mean, like,
Why not just be like, I will be at all the gems, or I will.
well, they
alter
already
reality
had all
so
the
that
gems. I think the reality gem was the second to last gem.
Oh.
So, Thanos dies early on before the story happens. He meets Death, or rather, he doesn't meet Death. Death feels that Thanos, this very powerful cosmic being, is part of the universe. Much like I've talked about how Galactus needs to exist.
Right.
The universe is propagating too much, and Death feels that that's a cosmic imbalance, and so she's like, Thanos is this force of destruction. He will be my emissary, because Thanos worships me, and he believes in me, and he wants to see death happen. She offers him power. He looks into, as Ben pointed out off camera, the Infinity Well.
So you just don't see it, but he
Yeah.
does actually
Off-
get each one.
Off panel.
Like in this one panel, you see the
Where he gets
summation
them
of
all.
like he killed all these people.
Oh,
Yeah.
so we're right now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're seeing what you never
Thanos-
got to see in the comics.
Yeah,
We're
we're seeing
actually,
Thanos
like,
actually achieve.
getting them.
With the coming of Thanos and the power that he wields, he also ushers in the coming of Adam Warlock, who is another major player in the story. Adam Warlock is a character that was created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee long ago. And the idea is that there basically was this group of douchey scientists who wanted to create the perfect entity, the perfect guy. Not like Frankenfurter, but like if he were actually kind of like Frankenfurter in fucking Rocky Horror Picture Show. I want to create the perfect man,
I see.
but I'm not gonna fuck it. I want him to like get me power and stuff.
Okay.
So Adam Warlock was created by this race of douchey scientists.
I see.
As the character grew and changed over the years, they made him into like this cosmic guy who also has a deep connection with the Soul Gem. He is actually one of the few who can go into the Soul Gem and live on the Soul Plane or something.
If you weren't going to do anything with them, then why have 6? Just do
yeah.
like 2 or
Well-
something, or just 1.
Well, I'm sure that Starlin was like, I want to create this story that has like this interesting, window dressing of there's 6 elemental forces in the universe, and then you use them, and if you wield them all, you become likened to a god. And what if the wrong person was in charge of the
And
elemental
I
forces?
don't even know what they'll do. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
anyway, Thanos, when he gets control of the Infinity Gauntlet, first he wrestles the Silver Surfer, and then sends him on his way, because the Silver Surfer needs to go to Earth to tell everybody, like, Thanos is back, Thanos is back from the dead, and he has the Infinity Gauntlet. You don't know what that is, but let me tell you, and he explains it. Much better than I do. And he basically calls up Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange and Adam Warlock and the Silver Surfer team up, and they, like, call up everyone. So they create this massive army to take on
Super
Thanos.
team.
Yep. And
What's Spider-Man going to do to Thanos?
nothing.
Thanos, however his name.
They,
What's even the point? Why even bring him along?
he just they put out the call, and these are the people who showed up.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
It's
what's
actually funny.
Wolverine going to do?
I think Spider-Man even says, "What am I supposed to do?"
Yeah, there's actually a scene where he has this thing where he's like, look at all these heavy hitters and this cosmic problem. Like, what am I going to do? Everybody shows up. We get to see 2 of the Guardians of the Galaxy before they become members of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Gamora's in this book, and Drax in this book. They are nothing like you know them in the movie or in the Bendis book or even in the Dan Abnett stories of Guardians of the Galaxy. They're just in it.
Is this Doctor Doom?
Yeah, Doctor
Helping him
Doom
out?
joins the team. Because
His
Doctor
power is
Doom
required.
is massively powerful, and he's also like, I think he just hears about it.
What is his power?
Doctor Doom's power is his massive intellect.
Oh.
Doctor Doom is so intelligent, and he also has
He has some kind of electricity thing.
Well, he can
That's
produce
his
power
suit.
from his gauntlet. It's an Iron Man suit basically.
Oh.
But he also has some control over the magics. Doctor Strange is a bit of a sorcerer because his mother's soul was taken to hell. And
Doctor
he's
Strange.
Doctor Doom.
Doctor Doom.
Yeah.
And so he has been dealing with the magics to
Well,
try
aren't
and...
lots of people's parents taken to hell? Like,
Well, no, but hers was taken unnaturally.
oh, I see.
Also, he can't abide his mother's soul being in hell.
Oh,
So-
he
Even though
learned.
she was a bitch.
Well, I don't know if she was a bitch, but she did make Doctor Doom, so who knows. Anyway, the super teams show up, they go to fight Thanos. Thanos makes quick work of them, and Doctor Strange, Madam Warlock, and Silver Surfer figure out a new plan to take him down.
By the way, the reason that everyone's called together is because Thanos wipes out half of the existence in the universe.
Half of life.
Half of life. Like,
Oh.
Well, because
everyone who's
why
living.
only half?
That's what
Okay,
happened.
here's the thing. When Thanos gets the gauntlet, he creates this like plane of existence. It's not really, it's like a place in space. It's like a big like island made of rock.
Okay.
And the first thing he does is he brings death to his side because he worships death, he loves death. Her resurrecting him kind of like made him crazy for her.
Right.
And his mastery over the Infinity Gauntlet compels her to stay. But she thinks he's like a groupie, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with him.
Well,
but
then why did
he's
she bring
obsessed-
him back to life?
Because she knew he was going to be a service, but then
But
he
she
got the
doesn't
Infinity
want to spend
Gauntlet.
any time with him.
Well, also he has the Infinity Gauntlet, and so he's like limitlessly
such a
powerful. She friend zones the shit out of Thanos, and all throughout the book.
No, don't use that word.
I know I hate the word, but I mean like he's the kind of person who would use that term.
but that's the
Yeah,
thing. She doesn't
it's
even friend zone him. She
No.
openly dislikes
doesn't like him.
Yeah.
So it's actually a very good use of it because people who use that word think that they're being friend zoned, but in reality, it wasn't interesting. So he's like, Death, what can I do to make you fall in love with me and be with me? And she doesn't answer. She never talks to him. And Mephisto shows up, and Mephisto basically becomes Thanos' consigliere, or his like advisor, like his vizier. And he's like, maybe, and it's all just a power play. Everything that happens in this is a power play. Mephisto wants the gauntlet. Everybody who meets Thanos wants the gauntlet, except for Death, who is like, I really shouldn't have done this.
Right.
Oops.
But was she happy when he wiped out half of all life?
No, he actually does it as a gesture to her. Mephisto's like, maybe if you wiped out all of, like, maybe it's the fact that you haven't actually killed anybody
Right.
that Death is upset.
Well, that was
she
the whole
wanted him
idea,
to.
right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but he's
there's
like
too many people.
That's too many. He's like, I'll wipe out half of life on in all of the galaxy, and he does, and she's like, ugh. And he's like, what? And then Mephisto's like, oh, maybe it's because you were so blasé about your limitless power and about death. Like, you killed that many people without any effort, without actually paying homage to death. Maybe she's insulted by your gesture. And so, and he's just like, oh, well, maybe that's right. Oh, what do I do? It's just, like Thanos is reduced to such a sniveling teenager in this story.
But an angry, all-powerful god sniffling
Yeah, it's like if a fucking 15-year-old boy got all power over the galaxy.
And then a girl that he really liked didn't like him, and he's like, oh, I do everything so that she likes me.
right.
I'll destroy this entire city.
And
I'll
some
just keep
total
doing
bro
what
was
doesn't
like,
work.
and some total bro became his like vizier. So anyway, everybody goes to attack Thanos.
I don't know, man. Maybe she's a bitch.
Yeah,
How does Captain America breathe in space?
the Thanos creates an atmosphere that you can't see on the planet. But once they leave that zone, they start to die.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Which is funny.
Like, there's a guy named Eric Masterson who is not Thor. He just was worthy enough to wield the hammer of Thor. So he touches the hammer, and he becomes Thor. But everybody around him thinks that he's just Thor. But he's not Thor. He's Eric Masterson, who's just this dude who now has Thor's powers. So he's been, like, posing as Thor, but he doesn't really know how Thor's powers work, necessarily. So, like, when he throws Thor out into space and separates him from Mjolnir, he just turns into this douche with a ponytail, and he's like, "Oh no!" Eventually, he gets the hammer back, but like he does eventually die, and throughout this book, it's actually kind of annoying because Eric Masterson is a '90s holdover. Eventually, Marvel thought people would like a cool, edgy Thor, so they let him get a hammer, and his name was Thunderstrike, and he got to keep his cool ponytail, but wear like a jacket, and like he's lame and stupid. So eventually, they just got rid of him.
Okay.
But
Good.
throughout this book, he keeps thinking, because all these thought bubbles are in the book, like, I hope they don't suspect I'm not Thor. And you, as a reader who doesn't know anything about like this obscure moment from the '90s Thor era,
You're like,
are like,
what?
What are you doing, Thor? Why are you having this weird existential crisis about yourself?
Yeah. Why? maybe I'm jumping ahead here.
No. Let's.
But it seems like really nothing happens except they go.
Well, they go and they fight him, and then
they fight him.
They fight him, and they
my
all lose
question is,
because it's
in
like
the
he's a
fight,
god.
Like Wolverine stabs him with his claws, which obviously isn't going to do anything.
No.
But then he flings Wolverine back and injures him.
Yep.
Why doesn't he just erase him from existence or whatever?
Well, because he's already shown.
Like a moment ago, Thor throws the hammer at him, and it just goes into a hole in space that creates right in front of his face. Why doesn't he just do that to Wolverine?
Well, because you got to mix it up.
He actually wants to fight them.
Yeah, that's the other thing. He wants to
see.
show that he has actually, a badass.
Right.
And it's better if they earn their deaths. Maybe that will show death that I'm serious.
Not only that, but because he has power over the time gem, he knows
when they're going to do
the
it.
past, the future, all of this stuff. So he turns that power off for this fight.
Yes.
Wait, which power?
The dominion over the time
omnipotence.
gen
allows
you to live all throughout time.
Right,
so you
what's
know
gonna
everything
happen.
that's going to happen. So he can be surprised by the fight.
I see.
But at the same time, he's also still it's like using your cheat codes. You still have God mode on, but you turned off the all ammo mode.
Right.
Like, I can run out of ammo, but if I punch you long enough, I'll still kill you.
win.
The other thing is that all the cosmic entities in the universe. In fact, Eternity himself, which is the physical embodiment of the universe.
Okay.
And he is like, we gotta stop Thanos. So all the cosmic entities show up, and
does he have a mouth?
yeah. Eventually, Eternity's like, all right, enough, and then Thanos takes over Eternity. He becomes Eternity, and throughout this story, a number of other things happen. Number one, we meet Nebula, Thanos' supposed granddaughter. I don't know why they keep implying that it's supposed, but for whatever reason, they don't want to admit that Thanos might have a granddaughter. He drains her of life, and so she's this living corpse.
She's not purple. I thought she was blue.
She seems like she's just a zombie. And then when Thanos becomes one with the universe, he's momentarily distracted, and she grabs the Infinity Gauntlet.
And the thing is he makes himself one with the universe, so he's incorporeal.
Yeah. So his body's still there because it has the gauntlet, but he's also out there being all the universe. So anyway, she takes the gauntlet. She says,
"Oh, and Thanos also creates his perfect bride to throw it in Death's face."
Yeah, because eventually he's like, you know what? I'm starting to think you're not gonna bang me at all. This is horse shit. You know what? I've got power over everything. I'll make my
female me.
Yeah, it's so sad. Taraxia is just chick Thanos. It's like, she's everything I've ever wanted. Like, you, dude.
It's like, that is gross.
They are gross. The cosmic entities are all make a power play, including Eternity, to get the gauntlet.
Okay.
Either away from Thanos or for themselves. And Thanos turns them into big marble statues that are part of his menagerie. And so when Nebula gets the gauntlet, she puts them back. Kind of as a way of being like, don't come get the gauntlet from me. See, I gave you all your shit back. So, so then Adam Warlock goes into the Soul Gem.
Right.
He's like, whatever. So now he's in the gauntlet.
And this was I guess, the brilliant plan that Adam Warlock had.
Yep, his brilliant scheme was, let everyone fight Thanos, and while he's distracted, we'll take the gauntlet off his hand.
Right.
Which, of course, doesn't work.
Right.
That's why Nebula is put in the story, because she's like, oh!
Right.
Who would have thought that the living corpse would have taken the gauntlet? And that's when the whole story just falls the fuck apart. Because, not falls apart, but wraps up real fast. It's we wasted all these pages, now we gotta wrap it up. So then, when Nebula gets the gauntlet, Thanos joins up with the superheroes, because he's like, well,
hey guys.
And they're like, what? They go anyway, because we gotta wrap it up.
Sorry.
Yep.
I was wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm on your side now.
Yep. And I want the gauntlet back. Yeah. And they're like, well, you're not gonna get it.
Right. No, but...
So when she makes everything as it was 24 hours ago, she becomes a husk, the gauntlet falls on the ground, and then everyone's just fighting over each other to get it.
Okay.
So Adam Warlock
How do you know it's half? Because he says
he
it's
says
half?
it. He just says, all life in the universe will be destroyed.
Yeah.
But it comes back, right? Because she resets time, so it didn't even actually happen.
Right.
So really nothing in this book actually even happened, except the very end.
No. At the end of the book... Adam Warlock takes the Infinity Gauntlet, and that's it.
And leaves.
Well, also, Thanos is like, it's so fucking stupid.
Thanos.
No. Thanos goes, oh, by the way, I didn't get the Infinity Gauntlet. Fair enough. I have a thermonuclear device on my person, and I just set it off. So you all have 5 seconds to live. And then Thor hits him with the hammer and throws him out far enough into the universe where he explodes. And they're like, yay, Thanos is dead. And then Adam Warlock is like, so anyway, I got the Infinity Gauntlet. And they're all like, you shouldn't have that. And he's like, well, I mean, like, what are you really going to do about it? And then he, like, blinks and puts them all back where they should go. Except for his buddies, Drax, Pip the Troll, and Gamora.
Not Silver Surfer, though?
No. Then Adam Warlock, in an epilogue, goes to this unnamed planet sometime in the future because he has total power over time.
Right.
And he runs into Thanos, who runs a farm with no one around him to contemplate his place in the universe.
So he didn't blow up.
No.
Or Adam Warlock made him not blow up.
Or whatever.
Well, I mean,
like,
maybe he did blow up, but it didn't destroy him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's Thanos.
Because I guess that wouldn't destroy him anyway. Or
Yep, because
Although
Thanos
he
also
implies that it's going to kill him because he's like, I prefer death to imprisonment.
Yeah, well, he says that, and that's also like a great way for him to like throw a smoke bomb and be like,
Right.
"I'm magic and can disappear."
Ninja finish.
Like, no, you run away and hide in around a corner and wait for everybody to leave, and then you go and actually leave the room. So, the Infinity Gauntlet is a neat set of visuals. I love the idea of there being these 6 cosmic forces in the universe that, like, if one takes control of it, they can like have mastery over it. And the 6th one, and like,
and they do seem to like incorporate some of them. They show like one thing that each one does, or maybe not each one, but like some of them, like the soul and the time gem, like each get a moment.
Yes, where you actually explicitly know what happens with them.
And it happens because of their
like, what is a power gem? Like, does it have? Do you have raw power? Are you strong? Do you have like? Can you control people's wills? Like, what is the definition of power? It's much more nebulous.
Right.
The whole thing with the time gem, he never should have gotten that.
No. So there's a lot of fun visuals. I really like the idea of this more than the execution. I love George Perez's art more than Ron Lim's art. George Perez did like the first stuff. It's much more like detail oriented. I mean, everything's all detail oriented. You almost didn't even notice the difference, but like
I didn't.
But George Perez's art is much more like he likes these little panels, whereas Ron Lim is much more about like the full page and showing you like everyone has the same look on their face, and like Ron Lim would eventually be used a lot during the 90s for Marvel.
When did this book come out?
This came out in like 90...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It reminds me of like Watchmen style art.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
I think this is newer than
like
Watchmen
in terms
style.
Of like the
the panel composition and how like things happen in front of you.
I think it's the fact that
the coloring.
And that's just the
coloring is very it's very like the few basics.
Yeah.
I would love to.
It's such a gigantic fucking book. You're just like, oh, I mean, we can't.
No, we can't
spend a lot
possibly
of
color
money
it
on
all.
this.
I would love to see this recolored. The Avengers JLA crossover features the Infinity Gauntlet for a few minutes. They need it. It's one of the totems that both sides of their universes need to grab in order to there's a bet. We won't get into it. No, next time we will do. What next time being another time from now, not in fact the one that we're doing next.
It's at the moment where the art. Like,
it's starting to shift.
seems
Actually,
to, like, really
it's funny because Perez drew a lot of shit. He drew Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Okay.
So like, that was the 80s. That was during Watchmen.
Yeah.
And then it transitions to Ron Lim, who is much more of a 90s-centric artist. So it's actually like a bridge between 80s and 90s comic art.
there seems like there's flashes of what will come.
Yeah.
In here.
Yeah. Infinity Gauntlet by Jim Starlin, George Perez, and Ron Lim. I want to thank Ben for reading this book in the past and kind of helping me fill in some of the gaps. It's been a while, but I like the idea.
Access to the time gem.
Oh, shit.
Like he knew this episode was going to happen.
So he read it again.
So he read it when he was younger.
Yep. So that he
Before
would
the
be
show even
prepared for the
existed.
episode.
Yeah.
Because he's in all time.
Yeah.
I lost it though.
Yeah.
I was taking a nap. And
Now here's the question. Do you remember... No, that's not it. If you liked this episode, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And check us out
at
here.
the Garden State Comic Fest, too.
Yeah.
We're going to be there August 23rd at the Morristown Hyatt.
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now, we will be there at the Morristown Hyatt on August 23rd. We're going to be in Morris Room B for a live episode of Back Issues.
11 a.m.?
11 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Wait, 11 a.m.?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we're like the first.
We're the first
thing.
and only panel.
Yeah.
Come see Ethan and Sal. I'll still be in bed.
What?
What?
It's
I know it's gonna be
11 a.m.
Yeah, man, that's early on a
You
weekend.
can get up at 10.
I'll be there.
good. I know you
And
will.
after we're done, we can just enjoy the con.
That's right. We'll also have a booth where Tiffany and Danielle will be doing a live episode of Bonus Round, so you can check them out. I don't know what game they're going to play, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
Are they going to do that while we're doing the panel, or like
Nah,
after we get
no, they're going
back?
to come to the panel.
Oh, okay.
And someone else will man the booth.
Who's going to be at the booth?
I think...
A little paper sign that says we'll be back in 30.
Yeah.
Or maybe you. Maybe you'll man the booth.
No! You can't
No?
man the booth.
No?
Nah. No, actually...
Dude, don't make promises you can't
Yeah,
keep.
I'm not going to... What?
I said maybe. Maybe you.
But it
Maybe
won't
you.
be. That's not even a
Maybe
possibility.
you. Maybe you. Or you. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
No, but not you.
No.
No.
You.
Yeah.
You...
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
And another week goes by, we didn't do World War Hulk. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
And I'm Ben.
So long, everybody.